Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB bikini pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. Today, we're connecting with a mechanical engineer, master posing coach known for her work creating flawless routines and transforming routines internationally with Team Atlas, an IFBB professional athlete who started competing after a massive car accident that required her to learn how to walk and move all over again. Her love of dancing on stage transformed into a love of competing, and after 3 national shows, she earned her pro card at the 2017 CBBF Bodybuilding Championships. Welcome to the show, Angeline Jeanson. How are you doing?
I'm super good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm so happy you're here. And I know we just spoke with the whole Team Atlas for Coaches series, but I had to have you on for your own episode. And something that I do in all my individual episodes is I ask the girls if there's a ritual or something they do right before their heel hits the stage. So was there anything you used to do when you were competing?
Um, um, I used to do like have a song per show. So while I was getting ready for any show, I was listening to the same song or podcast. And every show before going on stage, I was listening to that song to calm me down, to put me in a state of mind to be ready to hit the stage. And I also tell myself like, showtime, and I bring it. So that's what I was always doing when I was competing, but I was doing that also when I was dancing. So yeah, it's come from a long time.
That's awesome. I love how you took that from your dance background and applied it here. And is that song a song that you usually would listen to when you were practicing posing or throughout your prep, or was it just specific for show day?
No, it was a song that I was listening for posing, cardio, training. It's because if you like study music, music can bring you in a state that you feel comfortable or joy or a state of mind that is super calm. And that's why if you listen to the same song, you know you have event that you listen to a song and it reminds you sometimes of events. So this is
Mhm.
the same thing. Like you listen to the same song, you put that yourself in a good mood, and when you do it on show days, it bring you back. So that's what's my trick, and I think that it's an old trick. I think I've done that all my life, to listen to the same song before dancing, and I apply it to the stage.
That's so cool. It's like an anchor almost to.
Exactly, it's an
Mhm.
anchor.
So cool. Well, you have an amazing story. And of course, most people know you for your work as a posing coach. So I'm really excited to shine light on you. And I would love if you could just start by sharing your story to competing and that accident that you had endured.
So when I was 18 years old, I had a really bad car accident, where I had to learn to move again. I still have some issues. My right hand, I have like one finger that is still in pain, but like it was a really bad accident. And when I started the rehab, my physiotherapist at that time told me, you know, you need to train to get back the muscle that you had so the pain goes away. Because as a dancer, I'm hyperlax. So every treatment I was doing, my it was always coming back because my muscle was like so much flexible, and my body was so flexible that any physiotherapist that was doing treatment on me, it was not holding. It was just like a waste of time. So one physiotherapist told me, you know, you need to train So your muscle hold everything and the pain goes away. So I start training at that time. I always been in shape because of dance. I was dancing a lot per week. So I was not training before, and I start training because of that accident. And after 2 years, almost 2 years of training, one of my friends told me, you should compete. Like, it's like dancing, but like you show your hard work and stuff like that. And he's like, uh, I'm sure that you'll do great. So I joined the team. I did my first show. It was like a super bad experience.
Mm.
Super bad experience. I didn't know that you should not wear the same makeup that your suit color and like stuff like that. I didn't have any posing coach, so I did my own thing. It was super awful. I placed eighth, and but the thing is that when I went on stage, I remember what I love to do, being on stage, present and stuff. So this is how my journey started. I decided to do a second show where I placed first at a provincial show. Back in the day, it was with the CBBF. So we were having provincial and national stage. So I placed first, and a couple months after, I did my first national, where I placed first at my first national. And after I got invited to the World Championship, I placed eighth out of 32 uh, world like country champion. I don't know how to say, but
Wow.
like, and this is how it started. And after that, I did my quest to my IFBB Pro card. And in Canada, the way it works is to win your pro card, you need to win the overall. So that's why I'm a 3-time national champion. And when I won my pro card in July 1st, 2017, there was 244 bikini competing.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, and we were 7 at the overall, and I won the second pro card. So yeah, I remember that day that when we were waiting in the overall lineup, girls was like, I dream about the Olympia and stuff. And I was like, me, I've been there for the third time. I'm a third-time national champion. I know that winning an overall might not happen. So I was just like super happy to be there. And when they named my name, I was totally shocked. Totally
Wow.
shocked. I was not expecting it. So this is a bit my story. I've competed across the world. I did the Arnold in Europe. I did 3 times the World Championship. I did a lot of stuff, but like competing was a really big part of my life for 6 years, and that's it. Now
Amazing.
I'm fully retired.
So you would never go back.
um, I don't think I can say never, but I always told myself that if I ever compete, it's like after having kids to get back in shape. But um, for now, it won't happen since I coach some of the best IFBB pro bikini in the world, Gendry, Lorelli Chapada, just to name a few. Um, when you become a coach, you cannot show up beside the girls that you compete against. To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, I study Gendry, like every single um, aspect of her. I know all her weakness. I can just not decide to like start competing as a bikini pro and go on stage against the girl that I coach. It would not be fair. And I want my girl to win as much that I want to win. So all of this makes no sense to me. So I prefer to put my time in my girls than compete myself.
Oh, I love that because your work is so incredible and it shows on stage, seriously. And I know we're going to talk a lot about your work as a posing coach and how much time you invest in your athletes because obviously it is down to every detail as you've described before. But I'm really curious about what you think of the bikini division and the look it has now because you competed for so long, and like where you think it's headed.
I think that when I start competing, there was not really like criteria. You were showing up and it was just like not really super strict. Even for the posing, you could do a little bit of whatever you want. It was a bit weird. What I really like now is that we know what to expect. We know that like physique wise, you need to look like a certain look, and I really love that look. We know that 50% of your note is all about the way you look, your presentation, your posing, your bikini, your suit, your makeup. 50% of your note is how you look. So for me now, I really enjoy the bikini because when I was competing, I was like always a little bit of loss because some national like they were looking for a look, the other national is with another look. It was not super clear. So for the past like I think 4 years, we know exactly what to strive for and we know exactly how you should look. And I really really love the look of the bikini now. I think that with the wellness category, it's like it put really criteria to a certain look, and as an athlete and as a coach, uh, it's it's really good. And for me, I really love the shape now that more than when I was competing.
Yeah, no, I think it's progressed so beautifully as well. And I mean, even just what we saw at the Olympia, and congrats, Jen, placing second in the world. That's amazing with your
Yeah.
posing. That is awesome. I mean, just that was really exciting. I honestly was hoping she would take it if I'm being totally upfront, but yeah, I was really excited to see her get second anyways. And how I know you were a dancer before, and I would love to hear a little bit more about your background in dance and if you think that it influenced your posing as an athlete or now the work that you do.
Um, I've danced for almost 15 years. I started dancing. I was a little kid. I'm even though I'm a mechanical engineer and we are known to be really like less artists, I have a big part of me that is really artistic. And the thing is that I think what having a dance background create is the way I coach posing. I coach posing with step, with tempos. I build routine like I was building choreography. Um, Gendery Olympia routine. Every single details are calculated. Where she look, how she smile, how she push, and the way she pivots on her heels. Everything is calculated. Um, like when you create a choreography, when you dance and you create a show, everything that you create is already planned. So you make sure that everything is perfect. I think that's what makes me different is the way that I coach. And dancing is a huge part of the way I coach. It's also the way I create new routine. I try to make sure that my girl stands out a lot. So every single routine that you saw on the Olympia stage were that I create, four of them were all different and based on my athlete personality and physique. So yeah, I think that dancing brings a lot to the way I work, and it also what brings me to always try to push posing to another level also.
Yes, actually, one of our listeners had like they were wondering how you stay ahead of the game because you've been able to remain innovative with the evolution of posing and really supporting the evolution without, pushing the boundaries so much where they stand out in a negative way. So, how do you stay on top of it like that and come up with these routines that do complement each individual athlete?
Oh, you need to know that like Jan 30 routine took me 15 hours to build. It's not something that I came up in a 5 second and we just do that. It's a lot of work, a lot of recording, but it's also that I really don't look at what other people do. And I think that's the issue of now of posing is example, I post something and a week after I see other people copy exactly the same thing, which is something that I never do. I never look at other posing coach, and I don't want to sound rude, but I barely know any other posing coach. I don't look at what they do. I really do my own thing, and I make sure that my girls stand out, and I make sure that they really, really like have the best for what they can present. And I think that's it. That I think that be staying in my own line and doing my own things, what's make me progress that much and create like different routine and really unique stuff.
No, it's almost like by not comparing to others, you're able to have the freedom of creativity and create those perfect routines
Yeah,
from.
and yeah, and the thing is that what I've seen is like I post, and now like everybody know, I don't post any of my girl routine anymore before they hit the stage. After I'm going to post them, but until that, I'm not doing it because it was like one show I was bringing Gina, and we've posted their full routine on Instagram, and a week after, a girl post the exact same routine,
Mm.
same air flip, same steps, same everything. Every single second was the same routine, and I had to recreate the new routine, change the routine, and I told myself like, no more, no more, so I can stay unique. I can make sure that my girls look the best, and I can make sure that all my girls can stand out on stage.
Wow. I love that. I have a lot of respect for the investment you put into your girls and wanting them to win and take that top spot, of course, and bring their best. So, when you say you spend like 15 hours, let's say on a posing routine, do you have like a notebook for yourself? Do you have like a video library for these girls? Like I'm really curious about how you're staying on top of that.
I record everything that I do. Every routine that I built, I record them. And the way I work is I send the draft to my girls, and they tell me their feedback. And after we build from that, but I only do that with top pro. Okay,
Mhm.
so let me explain. Amateur, they only have 15 seconds, so you don't have a lot of stuff that you can do in an amateur routine. And some girl like Corinne that won the overall at the Olympia amateur, she has the same routine for the past 2 years, and we just like put it so much perfect that now it was like flawless on stage. And what I do with pros, top pro, is I do draft. I send them a draft and we work from that. When a girl turn pro, I don't ask her feedback. I just built her routine and we start with that until she's good enough to like bring the personality inside of that routine.
Hmm, that makes sense. So essentially, like you do a lot of choreographing for the IFBB pros, and when it comes to the amateurs, it's really just about perfecting that 15 seconds, hitting those poses that they have there. And that makes me wonder too, like when you go to a show and you see girls who are not on your team, and it's an amateur show, let's say, what are some things that you notice or that you see that you wish maybe wasn't being brought to the stage or that are like pet peeves for you?
Oh my God, there's a list. Oh my God. The first one I think is the new trend of starting your routine with a back pose. You see the girl walk on stage
Yes.
and hit a back pose. This is a no-go. This is like the worst thing you can do. It's like in I always say when you go on stage and you present, it's to present yourself. Would you like start a conversation and show your ass first? No, you don't do that. You introduce yourself, you stand to the front and like you say hi to the judge that way. So starting from a back pose, this is a no. The other thing is all the hair flip and all the motion with the arms. We see a lot of girl in the amateur lose a lot of time flipping their hair. You have 15 seconds to showcase your physique. Why would you spend 3 seconds moving your hair? Judge really don't care about your hair. You should take that 3 seconds to hit another pose, to make an eye contact with the judge, to smile, to make your personality stand out. That's why you should use your 15 seconds. And the last thing is the arm. I see a lot of girls moving the arm too much, hiding their physique with the arm, and like you should keep your arm closer to your physique. You should make sure that every single second you spend on stage, they are perfect. You need to make sure that when you look at your routine, if a photographer take a picture at every second, you look good every second you spend on stage. That should be your goal. So having your arm flipping all over the place, hiding your physique, it's not appropriate.
Wow, I love that. Thank you for that insight. And I definitely think it's important for us as amateurs to hear this insight because it's the little things that really do, I think, make a big difference. Like that was so clear this year at a lot of the national shows. And when you had described the difference between working with your pros and working with your amateurs, I was curious if you have a preference to working with someone who's never posed before, like literally they're a newbie, they've never even put on heels, or if you like working with girls who actually have a history in posing.
Um, I don't have a preference. What I really have a preference is when a girl is open to feedback and that start with me without having any ego. That you're an amateur, that you're a pro, it doesn't matter to me. That you have a base in posing doesn't matter to me. That you're not able to walk, like for real, I really don't care. But it's all about the attitude that you're bringing to me. You can be a top pro and like having so much ego that I cannot help you, or you can be an amateur and you can come to me and that you can brag that you won a posing award at the original show, and like I can't help you. It's all about not your level but the way you're really present and how you're just like willing to learn, because I'm the type of coach that give everything to my athletes, like everything that I know, everything that I can make sure that they look perfect, I will do. So if you keep that in mind, is that every single feedback that I'm giving to my athletes, and I know I'm not like the type of coach that is like um telling my girls that they are good when they are not good. I'm not the type of coach that is like, oh, sweetie, you need to put your feet like this, because I'm not that type of coach. I'm really straightforward. But if you know that everything I tell you is it's in your good intention to make sure that you're looking the best, like this is the best athlete I can have, whatever level they are. I think this is like what I really like.
I love that. No ego, open to learn, and willing to see that the feedback you're giving is from the best place possible to help them bring their best. And do you notice a difference between what judges prefer at each level in terms of what makes the difference between someone going pro and someone not going pro, or someone qualifying for nationals or not, or getting an O qualification or not?
No, I think that the criteria are really like always the same. what make you look like a pro is that if you show up to an amateur, like a pro qualifier, and you show up looking like a pro, which means that you have first the physique, second you have the look, so suit, makeup, hair, and that you're posing look like a pro, you're going to turn pro. If you don't look like a pro, you won't turn pro, and that's super simple. Like, it's not different criteria, it's not different the judge. You just gotta think that the person that are sitting in front of you want to make sure that the person that they choose to be an IFBB pro can represent. And if you, as an athlete, if you're an amateur athlete and you show up to a pro qualifier and you don't look like a pro, that's why you don't get that pro card. That's simple like that. And you just got to also remember that judge choose with what they have in front of themselves. Like, they choose with the athletes that show up at a national stage. So you got to keep that in mind. It's the same thing for original show. You can win your first place overall at the original show and not looking super good because all the other athletes that show up were not super good. So it's always that to keep in mind. Whoever show up into your show and what you look like. And to be an IFBB pro, you need to look like an IFBB pro, the full package.
Love that. Love that. Super insightful. And of course, you mentioned 50% of it comes down to the posing and the look and the presentation. And without giving away your secrets, do you have any advice for girls who don't know where to start when it comes to picking suit color, suit cut, hair, makeup, that jazz?
So the trick that I'm going to give you is the trick that I have is
Okay.
to look at the Olympia the year before. So, example, this year, look at the Olympia 2020 for your 2021 season. Look what the girls look like. Look at the top five, what they look like. And that should be your criteria for your next year. It should set the tone of what you should look like as an amateur athlete. Simple like that. If you want to stay in the trend, look at that. For the suit color, if you see that the top five Olympia wears blue, purple, red, why would you show up on stage with a pink suit?
True.
So just ask yourself, like, if you see that the top five Olympia don't wear a ponytail on stage, you should not wear a ponytail on stage. Like, this is simple stuff like that. If you look at their posing, if you see that, especially if you look at my girls, but no, just kidding. But
But
like
not really.
this is like the type of posing you should bring to your next show. And I think that Olympia set the tone for the year after. And this is how I proceed. And now I have top Olympian in my team. I think that I make sure to set the tone for the next year too.
Yes, I love that. That's such a great mentality. And of course, people have asked this question. I actually got a few people ask, and they were like, why does Angeline only work with girls on Team Atlas?
So the reason why, it's really simple. So when I start giving posing class long time ago, I was working with a lot of different coach. And the thing is that when you work with different coach, you have different mentality. And my mentality is I work on every single detail. I don't let my girl choose their suit. I don't let them choose their look, hair, makeup. I don't let, like, they have no choice. It's simple like that. Because, like, I make sure that they look perfect and they look the best. And when I was competing, nobody helped me do that. And I did pretty big mistakes of suit color, suit designer, and stuff. And I don't want my girl to spend money and look bad on stage. Why I choose Team Atlas is because James is really like me. We are really like difficult on every single detail. The way James works is the way I work. He is really a detailed coach, and I'm a really detailed person, and that's why we work good together. When you coach a lot of different teams, um, it put myself into a position that like sometimes the way I work and other coach work don't come together. So 2 years ago, when James asked me to join officially his team, because at the first I was just coaching some of his athletes and I was coaching other athletes coach, and Jane was the only coach that was coming to my class, sitting beside me and trying to learn about the sport. And he was the only one asking me for feedback and listening to my feedback. So when 2 years ago he asked me to join Team Atlas as exclusive posing coach, it made sense to me because he worked exactly like me.
Yes.
And now we have this huge team of 300 athletes, and I think we work really good together, me, James, and Jan, as a team, and we're able to produce like the quality of bikini that we produce.
That's awesome. I really appreciate you sharing that story because I think it shows like how that synergy really came together among you guys and how it was a really natural fit. And of course, being detail oriented is something that stood out to me when I got the chance to talk to all of you. But taking it a step further, we talked a little bit about this on that coaches series, and that was what you expect of your athletes on a day-to-day basis that you think makes them bring their best. And some of your athletes have come on this podcast and told us about, like the yoga wheel, stretching, vacuums, and then like the daily drill sergeant like practice that you incorporate with them. So someone asked, what are some of the best stretches that any athlete can start implementing to improve their posing?
Oh, nah, I cannot answer that.
Thought I'd at
That
least try.
Yeah, but the thing is that with the stretches is that I know my girl, so like it's not really like things that everyone can do, and yeah, it's not something I can say. But
That's okay.
you can work with the physiotherapist or a massage therapist that can analyze your physique and know where you have issue and work with you, or you can join Team Atlas and I will help you.
There you go. I love it. I love that. That's very insightful too. And I started working with a massage or bodywork guy this year. And I think there's a benefit though to having a coach who's telling you like these are your weak points, or being able to review and see that and bringing it to them to help as well. So I like how you emphasize that team effort for sure. And you said, a lot of this does come down to the individual athlete, but maybe you could provide some insight into how you would help someone who's uncomfortable on stage, but they're comfortable at home in posing. One of our listeners says she struggles with that.
The thing is that you need to find why you struggle being on stage. Is it because you're shy? Is it because you have panic attack? You need to find the reason why you don't feel comfortable on stage. um, I, I think that the best example is Jen Dory. Okay, I started working with Jen in 2018, and after Toronto Pro of that year, and she's an amazing athlete before I started working with her. But the thing is that when I saw Olympia 2018 routine, and you can watch it on YouTube, when she was posing, she was not looking super happy. She was looking like the girl she want to run away from the stage. And if you look at her Olympia 2019 routine, you will see Jen shining. what we worked on is finding her wow factor and finding why she was not like feeling comfortable on stage. Some girls it's just because they don't know what to do or they didn't really practice. If you have like really a, a routine that is really built and you know exactly what to do, you're just going to do what you have to do. You're not going to think about it. It's like walking. Posing should become a second nature. You should just like go on stage and your brain should do all the work and you should be there just enjoying. Some girl is really like because they are super shy. And at this point, what I tell them is find yourself an actress mode and like be an actress on stage. Like change your mindset. Like it's not you presenting, it's the other girl. But you really need to find why and find the some exercise or some solution to your why, and this is the difference. The third thing I would see is also when people practice at home, they don't practice like they are on stage. They are practicing like they are in their kitchen, which means that they don't smile, they don't like place their hair, they don't practice with jewelry, they put socks into their heels. They do like everything that they don't do on stage because they are in their kitchen. They show up on stage and the brain doesn't know what to do because like they don't have their socks, they need to smile, they don't usually smile. They usually have their hair in like a pineapple bun and like you don't have that pineapple. So the brain is just like trying to find from reference of what you're doing in your kitchen and it doesn't find it. So like you need to make sure that when you pose you look like you're on stage.
Love that. Going back to like what you said in the very beginning, like having those anchors and knowing, okay, I'm practicing exactly the way I'm going to be feeling and practicing on stage and bringing that energy into every single posing session. And one of my friends actually, she asked me to ask you how you got so enamored with posing to the point of the commitment level you're at now and to the dedication you bring to it now.
Oh, I always been like that. Like it's inside of me. If you know me personally, I'm really annoying at trying to be super good in what I do. Like really, really annoying. And I think that that's why I become at that level imposing is I'm always trying to bring the best of the best. So I've studied everything that I did, the way I've coached posing before. I know exactly what works, doesn't work. Now, like I'm really, really annoying. I'm so annoying that I even like tell my girls with heels to buy and not to buy because I bought all the heels available, and I tried them all of them, all of them. And I realized this is no go, this is good, this is no good, this is for wide feet, this is for narrow feet. So now I tell my girls, you buy those heels, and that's it, that's all, because like I've made some try. So I think it's come from my personality of being so annoying, of trying to perform and be the best.
That's awesome. I think that, I mean, for someone who's as successful as you are, not just in what you do with competitors, but also in your life, that shows. And that's obviously benefited you in your own journey as well. And many of us want to hear about your work as an engineer and how you even got into this field. And you did this while working your way to pro status, you earned your degree. So, yeah, tell us more about that.
So I'm from Montreal, and in Quebec, you need to go to the Cégep, which is a 2 years before university. And when I was visiting university, I had three choice: um, become a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer. So that was my three choice since a
Wow.
long time. Yeah, but if you know me, I really don't like blood. So like the doctor part went away really fast when I visited the University of Sherbrooke, and I was like, I cannot do that. I can just not do that. So, and being a lawyer, I was like, this is too much. Um, I don't want to say that, but like boring or the same thing every day. So I removed that really fast. The thing is, being an engineer, the reason why I decided to become an engineer is that I really like, I'm the type of person who wants to know everything about ev- everything. I I really like the problem solving, and like I'm a really like tomboy. I love engine, I love motors, I love car. So naturally, being an engineer was like something supernatural for me. And when I finished the CJEP, I was 17 years old. So I started university at 17 years old. And I started my degree in mechanical engineer for 5 years. And I graduated at the same time that I was going to the World Championship for the first time. So yeah, and now I work for Bombardier for the past 7 years. I work on business aircraft for the past 7 years,
Wow.
and I really love it. Like I really love aircraft engine and stuff. So being an engineer is just part of me for the past. I've graduated 10 years ago now, almost.
Wow. Okay. My head is going so many directions because now I'm very curious. I'm going to ask a question that I'm wondering if I should even ask it, but I'm just going to go for it, which is, you clearly love engineering. You clearly love posing and working with these athletes. You're managing both. That can be very demanding. Did you ever think about leaving engineering to strictly focus on posing, or do you feel like they complement each other?
So this is a question I've been asking myself for a year now. And with the first part of COVID, when Bombardier had to close because Quebec governor decided that they were closing every businesses and everything, I did posing full time, 30 hours per week for 6 weeks. I was doing posing. And when I came back to Bombardier, I really missed being there, seeing aircraft and doing my engineer work. Um, it's for sure that if I decide to leave that, it's going to be a huge move for me because being an engineer is what I really love to do. I really love my job. It's not like I wake up in the morning and I struggle to go to work, or I struggle to do what I do. If it was that, I would have left before, because like we have enough athletes that I can do that full time. The thing is, the issue that I have is to do a mechanical engineer degree. It's 5 years of struggle. It's really painful. It's not an easy degree. It's like I almost quit like 5 times. I was like, this is not going to happen. So now, if I ever leave that, for me would be like not a fail, but I worked so hard to be where I am that leaving that behind would feel a bit like a fail. So I'm not there yet. Maybe sometimes, but for now, everything is working super good. Uh, Managing both, and yeah.
I love that. I can tell you're so passionate about the things that you do, and it makes sense. Like if you didn't like it, you would have left it by now, and it's not hindering you. So I think that's so cool, just being able to hear your love for that. And some of our listeners actually work as engineers themselves, and they find it difficult to balance their job with competing. But you got your degree while working your way to earn pro status as well, and now you're balancing this job with, of course, your work with Team Atlas. So how do you do it yourself?
The thing is, the way my brain works is I do things when I need to do them. I wake up super early. I'm a morning person, and I start working super early for Bombardier. And after that, I do my class, and after that, I relax. The Even when I was competing, I was waking up super early, doing my cardio first thing, going to work. I was training after, and after I was going back home. That you just need to be really organized, and that's the thing, and that's why I'm able to coach 300 athletes. Is that I make everything to be fully organized. I've built my website so the girls can book all by themselves. I don't have to deal with that. Yeah. So everything that I do is organized, and I make sure. But when I was competing, is that everything I was doing was like really time and schedule. I was eating at every single time, same time every day. I was like organized. Someone was doing my meal prep. I was going to work, doing my cardio before work, uh, going to work, finish my training, going back home, practicing my posing. And it was just like a routine. Everything was planned. And I think that if you want to succeed and have a career and compete at the same time, you just need to make sure that you're really, really, really organized and set alarm for everything. You need to eat, you need to take. And the last thing is find a bus that is really like open to that. When I was like competing and working for Bombardier, I was like with my team, and my boss knew that I had to take 12 minutes to eat my chicken and my broccoli and my rice at 10 o'clock. So he knew. So I was having my food on my desk. I was opening my meal. I was eating my meal, and he knew. So I was having a boss that was really open to it, and they were really like supportive. They were letting me compete and take some arrangements. So this is super important also. If you're in a job that is super strict and they'll let you like compete and doesn't support you, it's going to be even harder.
Mm, wow. I love that. It sounds like you've really systemized your processes from when you were competing to now.
Yeah, but I'm an engineer, and I have a specialty in optimization. So this is what I do for a living. So I see myself as a business because I have
Mhm.
my posing business, and everything is optimized to the maximum. So I can still see my family, see my friends, enjoy life, and like making sure that everything is so organized that I have some time for myself too.
Ah, that's so awesome because you're proving that that's very possible and it doesn't have to be so out of whack. And I think that's where people get tripped up is it's like I can't live a balanced life while also being successful in my work, which is so not true. It's you can definitely be balanced and make time for everything, but it comes down to the systemization, the organization, having a plan for everything. And you're not competing anymore. I know you still work out, and I was curious, like, how your lifestyle has shifted from when you were competing to now, because I know James will give you shit on his stories that he's done it, he did on the podcast too, just about how you eat. And like, I'm just curious, like, the differences.
People won't like me, but I barely train. So I train 2, 3 times per week, and I really don't diet. I'm really far from being on diet. But the thing is that I have a really, really good genetics. I have my dad genetics. That's why I'm super tall and super skinny. Um, but yeah, and also my body work a lot on stress, and more I'm stressed, more I lose weight. So I think that's like everything that make myself stay in the shape that I am. But like I have, yeah, my lifestyle now is all over the place, if we can say that. To be honest, people that follow me on Instagram knows that I eat pizza and I drink
Mhm.
wine. It's not something new, but yeah, the thing is that when I was competing, it was like I was eating for a purpose. Now I just enjoy, and yeah, yeah, I don't take any credit for the shape that I have currently. It's all like genetics and stress related. But I think that it's also that I've competed during 7 years. So for 7 years,
Mm.
my body, I didn't do a rebound. I didn't go crazy. I always been in shape. I always been like on a diet, and I was eating a lot when I was competing because like with the genetic that I have, and I was super skinny when I start competing. So with all of this makes me that I can stay in shape, but I have no credit for the shape that I have now.
Well, I think it's really interesting to see how you've been able to transform and view training and nutrition differently. And when you're training now, do you train for like the injury or the pain prevention, or are you training for fun? Like, what's your approach with training?
I just train for fun and relax. Just to like when I go train, it's just to put my head in a like just relaxing mode and to stop thinking about everything. I just really train as fun and more like to exercise more than everything. But yeah, no, I don't train anymore for my injuries. I just stretch a lot, a lot, a lot because I give so much class that my body gets sore.
Hmm.
And yeah, and the other thing is like I give 45 to 50 class per week. So I think that that counts also as a training because
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I don't see, I don't sit during my class. I do posing also. So I do show posing. So I think that that's also counts as training.
Yeah, if you're doing it right, right? It's
Yeah.
so hard. It could be a real challenge, and I can imagine how sore you must get. And I just think it's like the way you're describing training and nutrition as well can be applied for competitors too. Like you can enjoy your training, you can enjoy your nutrition, but like you said, it's all with purpose and intent. And I think it's cool that you're, able to paint that picture for us. And one of our listeners actually had wanted me to ask you, and this kind of goes back to what you do in your field as an engineer, but what is it like to be a woman in a predominantly male environment?
Um, I think it changed a lot when I first graduate and when I first no, I think it didn't change. It's just like if you know me personally, I'm a really strong head. So as a woman, people know, and as a person, people know what to expect from me. So I never had any issue except 3 years ago that a guy was really on my case and was saying stupid stuff like that woman engineer should not exist. But
Mm.
I never feel that I had to prove myself or anything because this is the way I am naturally. I think I prove myself more than what people expect from me. So it doesn't really do a difference for me. The only thing that I really like is when you work with men is that it's straightforward. You have an issue, you tell it, you find a solution, and it's done. That's what I really like. And that's why, as a person, I'm really like white or black, and I'm really straightforward because with the field that I'm in, working only with mostly men, it's make a huge difference the way you get approached. But the thing is that Bombardier is working a lot on having more women on every single aspect, every level. So I'm not in my employer is not really like um, hiring more men. They try to really push having more women. So I never had any trouble with that.
That's awesome. No, I appreciate you expanding on that for us. And is there anything that I didn't ask you about your work as an engineer or about your work as a posing coach or just life in general that you wish that I would have asked you?
No, I don't
No.
know. You no, you ask a lot of questions.
It's true. I know. I planned a lot. I was so excited about this episode and so amazed by how many questions we got submitted by the listeners. And it's clear, everyone knows you are really a master at what you do. And so, what would your best advice be for girls who have never competed before but want to compete? And then your best advice for girls who are on their road to pro?
So for the one who never compete, choose your first team wisely. Um, I lost a lot of time being on team that were not making pro, that were really beginner team, and I lost a lot of time. Some people say, example, us team at last, we charge a certain price, and people are like, yeah, but that price it's too high. But if you compete for example 3 years and no placing, no pro card, no nothing, to me it costs more money doing that than having a successful team that bring you into a successful place that you place really good. So my best advice is choose your first team wisely so you don't lose your time, but also that you don't ruin your health, that you don't have a bad experience, and that you're really like every single minute that you spend, because like doing fitness is not like a small sport. The cardio, the training, the posing, it's a sport that take a lot of time. So if you don't want to lose all your time, money, and everything, choose your first team wisely and make sure that you choose a team that is like you. If you're like us, okay, well, I'll talk about us because I know us and I've been on other team at last, we are really 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 detailed, okay. I choose suit, I choose makeup, I choose your hair, I choose your posing, and I make sure you look the best. If you're the type of person that like to do your own thing, that really don't want to follow stuff, we're not a good team for you. We're just like so detailed. We know exactly what's work, that this is what we're going to bring to you as an athlete. So choose a team that set the things that you want and the way you work, and try to find the best team that won't make you lose your time and money. That's my advice for first timer. My advice for someone that is on the road to pro. Um, don't compete at a pro level, at a pro qualifier level, if you don't look ready for that level. Don't lose your time doing shows when you're not ready. The thing is, that's the mistake I've done. Uh, when I remember one national, I placed fourth, and I was so mad because I was already a two-time national champion. But that year, my body was not there. My body was not where it should be, and my head was not where it should be. And I decided as an athlete to push it through and go to nationals. And it was my worst placing at nationals. My advice is you don't go to pro qualifier until you're ready to look like a pro. Take your time. Like analyze, do you look like a pro or you don't? If you don't have enough like muscle or you're not able to pose, take your time. Like really choose wisely where and when you compete. And the other thing is make sure that you look at what pro looks like, and that should be what you should aim for.
Wow, I'm taking so many notes. I
but
love this. This is
but
awesome.
it's true. We see often at pro qualifier girls that don't have enough muscle or that show up and like really don't look like a bikini pro and compete in bikini, you should just like wait or get yourself a team that is able to bring you to that level. But if your goal is to do well, and that's really advice for someone who wants to win a pro card. If you just compete to participate, you can do whatever you want. Like, and if you compete to participate, like, don't join a team like Team at Last. Like, we don't participate. We go there to win. That's our main goal. So, like, as an athlete, you need to define what you want. Do you want to be an IFBB pro or you don't want to be an IFBB pro? Do you want to win overall? Do you want to win first place? Or for you, a top 10 is fine. A third call out is fine with you. Define what you want and work through it.
Damn, I love that. Oh my gosh, such powerful advice and insight. Like, seriously, laying down the truth. And I really appreciate that. That was advice I needed to hear as well. And really actually got me fired up a little bit. So thank you for that, Angeline. That's awesome. I mean, everything you shared has been fantastic. And I've got like 2 pages of notes. So I'm excited to see, like, I have girls who take notes and create timestamps for every episode. So I'm excited to see what they come up with for yours, because there's so much value here. And to everyone listening, you can find those show notes on celestial.fit/podcast always. But Angeline, can you let everyone know where they can connect with you and maybe even, get info on Team Atlas to work with you?
So my Instagram, Angeline Jeanson, is my Instagram. You can always connect with me on that. But everything that is related to Team Atlas, you go on Instagram, Team Atlas MTL. And for all the inquiries, it goes with that account, because I don't take care of any inquiries. I just take care of the girls inside of the team. But you can always reach out and send me a DM. I will answer. What can I answer? Because like we know that I keep everything secret. I like that.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. You shared so much value with us today while protecting those, secrets as well. So thank you so much. I'll make sure I put all your links in the show notes page, you guys. That's, like I said, celestial.fit/podcast. Angeline will have her own episode category section. So when you go on the site, there's a categories if you scroll all the way down on your mobile, and it's in alphabetical. So you'll find hers right away. In case you're not listening to this, right when it's released, in which case it would be at the top of the page. So thank you guys so much for listening. I mean, by the time I release this, we're probably well over we may have already hit 500,000 unique downloads by this time. That would be amazing. I just want to say thank you guys for your listenership, for sharing, for supporting, for reviewing, rating, subscribing, all of it. It means so much. And I can't wait to catch up with you guys next month. And Angeline, thank you again for coming on the show.
My pleasure.